program. I haven't brought that up yet, have I?
Well, were we on the air when I said that?
No, no,
Oh,
no.
good.
We were not on the air just yet. We were on our way on the air. So you'll need to repeat that. You were talking about killing dogs, I believe.
Wow, someone's already getting the wrong idea.
No, no.
No, I'll deny
It was
that.
it was more about killing people than killing
Yes,
dogs.
lethal injection.
Yes.
Yes.
But I'm having a problem. We are live on the YouTubes. We are not live on the streams yet, though, because the
Right.
messenger program is crashing. Uh, I wanted it to open.
That's not AOL, is it?
No, no, the NHB messenger
Oh, okay,
program,
good.
which we have to
Because
be logged.
is AOL gone yet? The
It's
AOL
gone.
messenger?
Oh, it's gone.
Okay.
It's gone. Done.
I thought it was.
Gone.
Yeah.
No more. Yahoo Messenger still exists.
Now, is AOL email still there?
I don't know. I you
Because I
know,
think I know people that have it still.
you know what? I mean, AOL still exists as a company, so there's got to be, and somewhere there's still people paying for all that dial up because you finished using up their 250 free hours, so then they charge you every month. Um,
Yeah, but can't you use the AOL email for free?
I don't know. I never used AOL email.
I thought as the dial-up was going away and people were clamoring,
How
I still need that email.
how
I've got it all over the place. I refuse to connect any
Brian,
other way.
are we going to talk about AOL email or are we going to talk about killing people? I Okay, now we're on the NHB
Are we,
streams.
oh, that one.
Now
Yay.
or
Okay,
dogs.
so back to killing people
No.
or lethal injection, as we're talking about executing bad people,
Okay.
right? And the line was, okay, why is killing people with lethal injection such a complicated process? We swab the area first with alcohol so
So that
that the
you
guy
don't get an
doesn't
infection.
get
Right.
an infection, and
Cuz that would
then
just be awful.
the procedure for actually giving the shot and the contents of it is kind of complicated, and it's not really that effective.
And no one's really sure if it really is painless.
Right,
Well, some people are sure, but
right.
they can't tell us because you see here's part of now the traditionally the lethal injection is done in what three stages, and I think they've been a two stage more recently, but one of them is a paralytic so that you're paralyzed so you can't move and you can't which gives the illusion that the person is dying peacefully. So we don't know. For all we know, they're in excruciating pain and unable to express that. But at least we feel better about it. So,
Right.
I'm priorities, right? I
Apparently it's illegal to film an execution by hanging. Or oh no, I'm sorry. Execution by electric chair.
electric chair. Okay.
Yes, apparently that is so horrific that they made it illegal to film that.
Yeah. Well, I mean that was what Edison's demonstration on why DC is better than AC because
Right,
what's AC
right.
good for? Killing people in horrific ways, or elephants. Um,
Yeah, it was recently what I was watching an episode of Stars that was out a couple of years ago, and a guy brought in a blueprint for an electric chair.
oh,
That's kind of where that information about
I mean,
being illegal to film people, blah 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 blah, and how horrific it is and whatever.
yeah, I mean, wasn't there a
Yeah.
botched execution that took multiple tries of,
Oh yeah, that and
I mean, like the
that was
procedure is you turn it
yeah,
on for a few minutes and then check, and you might have
right,
to, lather, rinse, repeat a few times.
right.
Um, yeah,
Would you ever see that hot dog cooker where you stick the electrodes in two ends of the hot dog and you plug it in?
yeah, yeah. I've seen that. I've seen that. It's kind of
To
like
me,
that.
that's got to be a creepy device to have.
Um, yeah.
You're basically using the technology of an electric chair to cook up your hot dog.
Well, all technology
Not
has
that a
their
microwave is that much better.
you know, all technology have their good and bad uses. I
Sure.
mean,
Absolutely.
yeah, absolutely. I mean, there was this
Nuclear power has some really great uses, but then again, we can destroy a city.
yeah, or more,
Right.
or a planet, you know.
Well, we haven't built any yet that can destroy a planet, but
Oh, well, not like, you know,
that's possible.
vaporize
Yeah.
it, but certainly, you know, you launch you launch the entire. We have enough that if
Sure.
we
Yeah. Yeah.
use
We
them
have enough.
all,
Yeah. Right.
I mean, we could just.
But a single device won't. At this point, we don't have a single device that will destroy the
Oh,
planet.
I'm sure one could be
Yeah.
built though. It wouldn't be
Yeah.
hard to come up with one at this point.
Sure.
If someone wanted to come up with a way to just take out the planet with one button,
Right.
we can make that happen. But this is an uplifting show here. So
That's why we started off with executing humans by lethal injection,
right, and not
right?
dogs.
And not dogs.
You know
Dogs
what?
is a simpler process, and it works.
Instead of talking about death, why don't we talk about life? And you know
Life,
where life
okay.
begins. I mean,
Where does life begin?
I don't know. It
Oh,
begins
did you want to go there, Johnny?
with step siblings.
Okay.
Dune sent me a wonderful sound file that he used yesterday on the show, and I should give some context because the context is of why Dune sent me this sound file is pretty funny. Because Beanie Loco is a guy on Twitter, and Beanie Loco has decided that me and Dune and the Cheeseburger are going to follow him on Twitter. And we didn't even have to subscribe to follow him on Twitter. Everything he tweets at Dune, at me, and at Burger Dude. So whether or not we're following him, everything he tweets shows up in our notification feed. And that's just how it is. And Beanie Loco, he'll go there. If there's a picture you don't want to see, he'll send it to you. So
Gotcha.
I get to work on Thursday, and my phone, you know, kind of, you know, vibrates. I'm like, oh, notification on Twitter. All right. I think my computer, blah, 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 twitter.com, go to notifications. And at work, I use Firefox for personal browsing and Internet Explorer for doing work. So my Firefox window is open only like, you know, a small section in the bottom corner of my screen. So I can, you know, do a little reading down there in between doing actual work. And so I see enough to see a granny from head to, you know, just below the shoulders. And it's enough of a picture that I could see that this is naked granny. But I did not scroll down further and was quite thankful that my window was not maximized for the entire office to see naked granny on my computer screen. And so that's when I closed the window and tweeted, "Damn it, Beanie, I'm trying to work." And so that explains that tweet. Unfortunately, not enough people are sending me. You didn't wake up yet, so I didn't have my daily dose of cat pictures in my Twitter notifications. So
Right.
lunch rolls around. I sneak off to a this little storage area that we have set up that we could do work in. And I usually take my lunch there, so I could do my own personal browsing without prying eyes. And I take my Firefox window, full screen, Twitter notifications. They were down below her knees. I'm not exaggerating.
You cannot unsee that.
No,
right?
no, you can't. You know, on Family Feud, when he screamed out, "Naked Grandma," that's what the picture was. That was, God, knees, below knees, literally. Oh my, Brian, you can't unsee that. You can't. You can't. And so we got Beanie Loco to call into the Dune and Bob show yesterday, and you know, because I had a very important question. You know, I wanted to know, did he go looking for that picture, or did it just find him? You know, because there is a huge world of difference between going out looking for a picture of naked grandma to send to your friends, or happening to find a picture of naked grandma and going, oh, you know, man, you know who's going to see these? Gators and Dune are going to see these. And so he explained that he's got this friend that's got a Twitter account that I guess he found it through there. And so he told us the name of the friend. I found her Twitter account, and it was just filled with all kinds of fun, mostly fun pornographic images and animated GIFs. And so I was explaining the Twitter account to Dune and the listeners, describing some of the pictures. Like there was a picture of a certain act that required lots of lube. And there was an animated GIF of, stream of lube coming out of the bottle to very shiny surface, and made things slide
Did
right
this
in.
involve a donkey?
No, there was no donkey. It was
Thank goodness.
there was a man, there was a woman, and there's
even the thought of the donkey picture.
No, damn it, Brian. I draw the line at naked grandma. We're not
Exactly.
Donkey. What the hell are you looking up on Twitter, Brian?
No. Actually, a guy I was working with would talk about when I forget, he turned 18 or 21. His friends took him down to Mexico, and there was a donkey doing it. Holy crap! With a human. I know. No, I don't want to see no damn pictures of that.
Oh,
venison.
No, that's not. Oh,
no,
it's not coming out the right output.
Oh,
I'm sorry, Venison. I will call you back. Skype has forsaken me, and I don't even have a menu on it anymore. Where's my Skype menu? Oh, that's Messenger. Where's my Skype window? Okay, there's my Skype window. Where's my settings? There's my settings. You should be taking audio from speakers should be coming out. You should be coming out 5.6. Why are you not coming out 5.6? And microphone. Oh, you know what it is? The Ringer has a separate audio setting from the audio, so it was set right. You could set the Ringer to come out a separate output, and so the Ringer's coming out my Windows output. So let's call Venison back, because he's gonna want to tune. He's gonna want to be here this week. Yeah, no, that's coming out the right output. All right, so where was we? Naked grandma. No, naked old lady who's someone's. And speaking of naked old ladies, we got Venison on the line.
What is wrong with you two?
Hey, Venison, thanks for calling.
I mean, what the hell? It's bad enough you go around, looking at naked granny pigs.
I didn't. No. It came up on my screen involuntarily.
Yeah, the first time. But you went into a private room, and looked at the whole thing.
By accident.
Oh,
yes,
yeah,
it was totally accidental. I believe that.
Yeah.
Sure.
Let me tell you something. The only time I closed the window faster was the first time Goatsy came up on my screen.
No, that
Venison,
wasn't so bad.
Did you listen to this from the beginning?
Well,
we're talking about executions?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, but let's get to.
Well, first of all, let's get to.
So we're improving.
Thing about donkeys. What about your thing about donkeys?
Well, we were already digressing into that deep hole.
We'll get back to
I've
the
never
donkeys.
seen a picture of donkeys, but I heard about it, and I go, that's enough. I don't want to hear anymore.
By the
so
way.
This is a warning that's out there, too.
Uh-huh.
I'm doing a service to the community.
This is a public...
The community has known the donkeys are out there for years.
Just in case someone didn't know that yet, though.
Oh, by the way, if anyone out there, maybe any cashiers or non-cashiers are listening in, you can Skype us at NHB Live through Skype, or you could call us through a phone number that I don't have memorized. But I can look up, because if we go to nhbradio.com, which is our website, we have all kinds of information there and a big red button to make donations to good causes, not us. We don't need them. No one should give us money.
Is this a big red button, bigger than Donald's button?
It's huge red button. You hit that thing and things are gonna go nuclear. 984-6 radio. That's 984-664-2723.
So you're not going to use the money for more granny pics?
No. It's a link that goes to redcross.org. That was back when we were doing the mock telethon. Anyway.
So when a guy posts up pictures of naked granny on Twitter, those are things that are often reported, right? And then they
Beanie Loco is on his second Twitter account, and we're expecting a third one real soon.
Right.
Apparently they don't get, flagged like that, because, I see a lot, coming up on artistic nudes.
Well,
so I'm seeing nudes on my Twitter feed.
Someone might have considered this art. It made a statement. It provoked thought. And also, reporting it would have required keeping the window open longer than necessary.
Of course, each day of the week has its own feature on Twitter with the hashtag, such as Wet Wednesday.
Wet Wednesday.
I never saw that.
Well, speaking of Wet Wednesday, so I'm giving the play-by-play on the different animated GIFs and pictures on the Twitter account on the Dude and Bob show yesterday, and there was a picture that was a pretty standard traditional, as far as relatively speaking, more of a traditional picture of the adult variety, because the woman is on top of the guy who's kind of laying back in the bed, and she's straddling on top of him, and there's some standard penetration going on, and she's got her head turned so you can see the expression on her face with her mouth open, and to me it looked very similar to a surprise look, and I felt like what was being conveyed here was more of a how did that get in there than a oh that's awesome. It was like she had like the ooh, like whoo, how'd that get? And when I said she has a look like how did that get in there, Dune and Beanie kind of lost it laughing. And Dune just so happened to have recently clipped audio that was relevant to the topic. And Dune plays this without explaining where or how he, came across this. So here is the audio he played and sent me yesterday.
Oh, come on. Shut out.
Wait, why is there a dick in me?
I did not do that. It just fell and slipped in. I did not do that. Get off.
No, it feels good.
No.
It feels good.
I did not do that. It just slipped and fell.
Oh, come on. Shut out.
Wait, why is there a dick in me?
I did not do that. It just fell and slipped in. I did not
Why
do that.
is it?
Get off.
No, it feels good.
No.
It feels good.
That sounds so legit, doesn't it?
Yeah.
So I of course asked Dune, what, how, what, where, what, and he
why?
And he apparently he slipped and fell, and his hands hit the keyboard and the mouse in such a way that happened to bring up this clip, and that was the story Dune was going with. So I had to do some research. Well, that was loud. I had to do some research to figure out just what was this. And if you do a Google search for "why is there a dick in me," it goes to a Reddit article that links to the video clip. And so here's the context for that. It's a video.
Big brother.
It's a video called Bratty Sis. With it just
His
slipped,
sister?
It just slipped in featuring Zoe Parker. Yeah, well, they're step siblings. They're all right.
Even your boxers.
All right, so cute blonde comes down wearing a tank top. Shirtless guy is there, and she just commented on, like, you know, why, and it's breakfast time because she's grabbing the box of cereal to pour herself a bowl, and there's a carton of milk on the table. And so this is the dialogue that, now that we've established the shot.
Why are you in your boxers?
What the hell? Look at you. Your tits are hanging out of that shirt.
Don't fucking look at my tits. Weirdo. Can I get some milk?
No.
I'm trying to eat my cereal.
Oh, I might need it.
You already have milk in your cereal.
I might
Just give
need
it to
more.
me.
No.
Give me a little.
No.
I just need a
So they're fighting over the milk because, you know, even though he's already got milk in his cereal and there's no indication that he needs more milk, he's like, nah, this is not enough milk to share. You can't have the milk. You eat your And so now they're fighting over the milk.
little bit of fucking milk.
No.
What the fuck? Look at what you're doing. My mom's gonna be so pissed at you. I can't believe she married your fucking dad.
I can't believe she married your dad. So now we've established step siblings not related. So we're feeling a little better about this, right? Right?
Slightly.
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 Okay. All right.
Give me the fucking milk!
I don't need any.
You're so fucking stubborn! You know what? I don't
Fine.
even need syrup.
You want the milk?
So he just like threw the milk on her, soaking her tank top. Now, you can't just go on wearing a tank top soaked in milk. I mean, the only answer is to take it off and go topless.
Take it off.
Right.
Take it
right.
off.
Here's your milk you wanted.
Oh my freaking god! You're the most immature mother.
And off
Oh,
comes a
this is
shirt,
fucking disgusting.
and there are the titties.
You fucking ruined my shirt. Like literally, what the fuck are you? What?
She's talking right at the camera right now.
Who the fuck is
Right.
gonna clean this up now? You fucking asshole! You got milk all over me, dude. Like,
So now slapping. Oh! He put his hands on her tits by accident.
Crazy. What,
Such a fucking. What do you mean I'm crazy? You threw milk all over me.
So now they are wrestling on the couch. She's pushed him down on the couch. She's gotten on top of him, straddling him, kind of slapping him, and he's trying to slap her off. And so we've already established that he wasn't wearing a shirt, and she's no longer wearing a shirt. He's got
Was he celebrating No Pants Day?
he's got boxers, and she's got on a thong, you know, a nice piece of floss, basically. And
That you're out of your mind.
now all of a sudden, somehow his dick popped out of the boxers quite hard, rubbing up against the barely covered with a piece of floss area. And wrestling is continuing to happen here.
Got me.
Oh, come on.
And she just fell on it.
Out.
Wait, why is there a dick in me?
I did not do that. It just fell and slipped in. I did not do that. Get off.
No, it feels good.
No.
She decided this feels good. Hey, and now she's moving up and down, and this is how sexy time started between stepbrother and sister.
Because incest is best.
Step incest. It's
You beat me to it.
Sorry, man. It was just too easy.
it was So thank you, Dune, for sharing some of your highlights
Right.
of your favorites with us.
So did I share the information that I got from a friend of mine? He was talking that he had this roommate in college, and the roommate claimed that so he was the guy was from a big family, and they had some of his siblings were girls, and the family was concerned that these girls could get pregnant in college.
Okay.
So to avoid that, they made made the girls pregnant.
Oh, that bad joke, Brian.
Well, this was presented as a true story.
No, I don't buy it.
Yeah, I agree. It's bad. Of course, I don't have any sisters, so I don't know anything about that.
I'd be worried. Wait a minute.
Yeah.
So you're suggesting that if you had sisters, you would know something about it? Is
Well,
that
I don't
what
know. I mean,
you-
you never know. No, of course not. That does seem creepy.
It's extremely creepy.
They had a couple creepy episodes, but 2 movies that turned into sitcoms. Believe it or not, the Brady Bunch. Before they got married, while the husband and wife were still dating, turns out this is I think one of their movies or something. Turns out that Greg and Jan, more rather Greg and Martha, were starting to date each other. But then their parents got married and they got pissed off.
No,
And same.
I don't know. I don't recall that being a storyline, but I know the actors that portrayed them were had a little something going on.
There was a lot of banging. Let's just say a lot of banging around the cast,
which made it difficult for them to act like brother and sister on the set. So
Yeah. Yeah, and it also happened in another movie too. With same thing with 2 large families coming together. Can't remember which one that was. It was either Yours, Mine, and Ours or something else.
Well, I remember it was a storyline on MTV's Undressed, and if you're not familiar with the show MTV's Undressed, it was one of the greatest TV shows ever of all time. Yeah, it was a kind of a sexy soap opera that kept moving back and forth between interesting sexually related plot lines.
It's cable. It's going to be.
It's MTV, and it was usually on late at night, and it usually went back and forth between high school aged kids, college age kids, and young adults. And it just kept going back and forth between these, storylines. And there was a storyline that was going on too that these, I guess, 2 high school age kids were, kind of started dating, and then their parents got married. I missed the beginning of the storyline, but to me, it seemed established that they were starting to get interested in each other before their parents got married, and now they're all bummed out that their parents are married and their brother sister, and they can't do this, but they can't seem to resist each other, and they keep end up making out, but they we got, and so at some point they decide we'll date in secret, and we'll get a fake boyfriend, fake girlfriend, like we'll find someone else in school to be our beards. And then we'll double with them so we can still hang out together on a date. We'll just be pretending we're dating other people, and they won't even know that we're pretending we're dating them.
And you find a couple that they're already a couple and just kind of swap when people aren't looking.
Well, no, it was they actually did use the term beard, that they each got a beard, and for some reason they were playing some kind of a sexy dice game. Which was making the step brother sister jealous of the sexy dice things they were doing with their beards, and at some point the chemistry was coming out between the 2 of them, and their beards were like, "What the heck is up with you 2? We're out of here." And at some point they decided that this just wasn't going to work. We'll just go back to being friends and act more like brother and sister. But yeah. And if anyone has a set of MTV's Undressed on files, I have season 1. I don't have any of the other seasons, and I've been looking high and low for copies of this show because I gotta see this again. It was great, the greatest TV show of all time, MTV's Undressed. Anyways,
yay.
Okay. So, Venison, guess what showed up in the mail today?
What?
Deluxe editions.
A dildo.
Of dildo. Yes.
Thank
you,
I had to guess.
I won't ask.
That's why you didn't ask me.
It's the deluxe edition of dildo. Yeah. No. Thank you, Brian. No. Deluxe editions. 2 CDs each edition of 2 classic albums, including bonus tracks of never before released material of Meet the Residents and Third Reich and Roll.
Uh-huh.
Now, is
Okay.
that tantalizing? Is that enticing? Is that... I haven't even had a chance to listen to this yet. I was just starting to do a little bit of listening to the Meet the Resident stuff when Brian jumped in. And, I mean, you're familiar with Meet the Residents, right?
Oh, I've got it.
Yeah, you got, smelly tongues, So yeah, they got like alternate versions of some of the songs. So I haven't, this is if you like weird stuff, I recommend picking these up. So this is never before heard stuff until this came out. I guess this is a little bit of experimenting with things.
And
yeah,
this isn't surround or anything, is it?
No, this is mono actually.
Oh.
So this is some of the stuff that didn't make it onto the Meet the Residents album. I like it. See, they didn't know how to play their instruments yet. Completely. Some of them knew how to play some things, though. Clearly one of them knew how to play piano. Oh, wow. It's an early version of Smelly Tongues. They were coming up with interesting sounds, though. They were very experimental with do-it-yourself recording equipment, and it's interesting what they came up with on those early tapes. And I think this one's got an alternate vocal on it from what I was hearing a little bit of earlier.
Smelly tongues looked just as they felt. Smelly tongues looked just as they felt. Smelly tongues looked just as they felt.
I like it. That's interesting singing it that way.
Just as they felt. Smelly tongues looked just as they felt. Smelly tongues looked.
Let's see what else we got on here. So yeah, it's two CDs of early Residents, and I mean, well, it includes both mixes of the actual album and the original Santa Dog EP and a bunch of outtakes. So it's a packed 2 CD set. It's an interesting version of Breath and Length.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. I thought you'd get a kick out of that.
I got something bad in the mail, though.
What's that?
I ended up getting something somewhat bad in the mail.
Oh, what'd you get?
Somebody sent me, a couple people from the station, sent me a microphone mixer.
Okay.
It's like, it's like, oh, look at this. The microphone mixer and compressor, all kinds of inputs on it. Little small thing. But, USB. And it's like, oh, good. I can hook this up and make everything sound cool. And I can plug in a cassette deck.
There
Only
you go.
one problem. The latest bane of all new devices, new gadgets they come out with. You gave me the page to get the drivers and the app for it, the control app. Looked at it. Only one thing matched. I could use only one thing. That was the audio driver. The USB driver and the control app, Windows 7 and above. I don't have Windows 7. Yeah.
You might need to upgrade.
Duh.
So, is Venison going to go to Windows 7?
I got to dismantle, back up the entire the entire C&D drive on this machine just so I can install one thing.
Well, I recently had to redo my whole computer and put a Windows 10 install on it. So, and I'm settled into it. It's working out nice.
Yeah, but there's a lot of stuff I gotta transfer off of here before I can do it. A lot of stuff. What about the
You got a replacement drive and just pop a different drive in there and install
But keep in mind, purchases are not exactly doable.
Yeah, really. If I could do purchases, half the problem would have been taken care of.
How big is the hard drive in your laptop?
The broadcast one, 500 meg.
Because I have a bunch of meg or gig?
Oh, that's right, gig.
I have a bunch of 320 gig laptop hard drives. They're not solid state. They're the spin up variety. But that would be smaller. And, you probably don't want to go. So, I'll have to take a look at what I got. See if I got a 500 gig one somewhere. Because, maybe I got a spare 500 gig spin up laptop hard drive I could send your way that you could put a clean Windows 7 on. You'd have to get all your laptop drivers, though.
Oh, Dad already got those.
You also got to get a Windows 7 installation media or something. Because
I've got that too.
Oh, okay, all right. Well, so I'll see if I got a spare hard drive kicking around here that will work for you.
Yeah, but in the meantime, is this movie folder filled? Nope, that's empty. Ooh, the D drive is easy.
There you go.
Cool.
Some cool outtakes on this disc.
Oh, Rick Floyd.
You know what I want to do though? I want to check out what our friend Ian is up to lately, because I'm looking for. I need an excuse to give them a call again and be like, "Hey, hello, Ian. What are you up to?" Because he recently did an interview with Russell Mael, and we need to talk about that.
Oh yeah, he's now sort of like a celebrity now.
Yeah, I didn't realize when he called the show what a big deal he is. But
well,
yeah,
he is now. Definitely is. He's even more so now.
Well,
because of something or other.
He's been a big deal. He's
even bigger now.
I think he's always been bigger. Or he's a big deal. And it's funny. I just figured he was some kind of late night, show host, and it was cool. Cool. I don't care how big or little someone is, but then I find out like, wait, this guy's kind of a big deal. I'm not in England, so I have no idea what isn't a big deal there. And besides, I'm not even with it anymore. I mean,
why listen now and then?
I don't understand why people are eating Tide Pods, so I certainly don't know anything about what is or what isn't a big deal.
Yeah, what the fuck is up with that? Why
doesn't the company just discontinue the Tide Pods?
Because
are we so fucking lazy we can't measure out detergent?
Brian, why should we have to give up the convenience of pop it in and start the washer?
Because we are so fucking lazy.
But Brian.
What?
Brian, do you own
Tide
a dishwasher?
Pods are relatively new.
Brian, do you own a dishwasher?
Yes.
What, you're so fucking lazy you can't wash your dishes by hand?
Yes.
Where do you draw the line at convenience and being too lazy?
Besides that, the laundromat.
Let's come out with lawn darts again.
Hey,
lawn darts are cool.
If you're at a laundromat, do you want to be carrying around a fucking measuring cup? to pour stuff into the machine?
You just pop it on. Whoa. Hey, measure stuff out in a Ziploc bags like we do. Not that we go to a laundromat, but if we're out of town, before we go, we put some detergent in Ziploc bags.
All right. Here's the argument.
So it's all pre-measured.
Here's the argument you could make, Brian.
You just made a Tide Pod.
One of the reasons why...
Yeah, but people aren't going to eat that.
You know why one of the reasons Tide's not going to go with the Tide Pods is?
because they want to get sued,
Well,
and they will.
No, it's not. Hey,
They will.
They've put plenty of disclaimers on these things. Do not eat them.
But they'll get sued anyway.
Brian, I am in favor of people eating Tide Pods because if you're going to eat a Tide Pod, I don't
Let's
want
bring
you...
back lawn darts then, because it'll have all these disclaimers on it.
I'm in favor of that too.
And when some kid gets a lawn dart in his head, you said, "Hey, didn't you read the disclaimer?"
I am in
And it's like,
favor.
"You're dead."
No, this isn't kids. This is adults.
It tastes like soap.
These are adults that are eating the Tide Pods. I'm in favor of it. If you're dumb enough to be a grown-ass person and eat a Tide Pod, I don't want you in my gene pool.
It's
Please.
soap.
Please.
It's fucking soap.
Chow
How
down.
can you find soap tasty?
So let's
know-
also get rid of the railroad crossing gates, because those are just a pain in the ass. People run them anyway.
Brian, anyone could eat a chemical. Just because some people are being stupid doesn't mean we should stop making them. And besides, here's the big reason.
Well, hey! I'm not making them. It's
Here's-
Tide, and they're at risk of being sued
And it's stupid.
because that's what we do nowadays.
I'm sorry. I'm siding with Tide on this. It's
well,
not.
they haven't
would too.
discontinued it yet.
It's
They will.
Why should they? Why should they discontinue?
They're
it?
going to get sued
Why should they get sued?
because people are stupid enough to do it.
All they did.
How about the lady with the coffee at McDonald's?
That's completely different.
Yeah, really.
The McDonald's
That is.
employee. McDonald's had a policy of serving coffee at a negligently
And
hot
actually,
temperature,
they still do.
and they still do. You
Yes.
know.
Yes. So we want the people to be safe. So therefore, we're going to
The
discontinue
coffee-
Tide Pods.
The coffee was hot enough to cause third-degree burns in a matter of seconds of an accidental
And the
spill.
Tide Pods will. What do they do to you if you eat it?
Poison you, but you're not supposed to eat it.
You're not supposed to spill your coffee on yourself.
Spilling coffee is a reasonable accident that happens at times. You don't slip and fall and land on a Tide Pod with your mouth.
So let's bring back
This-
lawn darts.
No, this
Venison,
is
do you
stupid.
remember lawn darts?
No. This is a stupid premise. You know, for that matter, they make rat poison. You think if people want to start eating rat poison on a dare? And if they do, you're going to sue the company that sells rat poison?
We should stop making rat poison because
Oh,
people
good.
might
Let's
eat
get
it.
these kids to do that. That's cool.
Please. If you're going to eat
Stupid.
rat poison, don't blame us.
If you're going to be that stupid, you're going to be that stupid. Nothing's going to stop you. Nothing will have any effect.
What was the line? Rat poison can kill you, but separately they're two great 80s bands? Wasn't it something like that?
I never heard that, but that's interesting.
I think Sloan used that line some point during his horoscopes.
Okay.
Anyways, yeah. So all right. So why? Here's the thing. No, if you're dumb enough to eat a Tide Pod, please eat it. Poison yourself. Do the world a favor.
Why?
Get out of the
Who
gene pool.
started this shit? Who started this shit?
You know, this all started as some kind of online joking, as I understand it, because they look like candy, and so people would joke about like, oh, they look so good, part of me wants to eat them, and then people started like making jokes and memes about, oh, can't wait to eat some Tide Pods. I think somewhere there was a picture of a Tide Pod pizza that someone made. That they put the Tide Pods on their pizza as a pizza topping.
I know. Let's jump in front of a train to see if it won't kill us.
But no one was eating them at this point. And then it was professional YouTubers that are trying to always outdo themselves and do, gross challenges, decided, well, since people keep talking about wanting to eat these things, let's try eating it and then spitting it out in disgust, and that's entertainment. And then, of course, once that becomes a thing on YouTube, it turns into a challenge, the Tide Pod challenge, and so now all the kids
everybody
are doing
does it.
Yeah, everybody does it.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what it comes down to. Is
So let's sue
wow.
the professional YouTubers
but
Well,
if
and
any,
blame them.
the thing is though, is that the professional YouTubers did it, so you don't have to. It's not like the people who are on YouTube are going, you know what? These are actually pretty delicious. Oh my God! Wait, no.
Let's see. The Ice Bucket Challenge started on YouTube
But that was
as
harmless.
a challenge, and then a lot of people were doing it.
Well, that was for charity. But this is
So
Brian,
what's charity got to do with it?
if you watch someone on YouTube put soap in their mouth and then spit it out in disgust and be absolutely miserable and wish they didn't do it, does that leave you with the thought of, oh my God, I got to do that this
You
weekend?
just said that it was presented as a challenge.
No, it became a challenge. YouTubers were doing it, and then other people started challenging other people to do it. Not the YouTubers themselves. They were doing it so you don't have to. The kids just ran with it, going like, "Hey, I dare you to do that now." That this guy did. I don't know how it's really started, but that's
Why don't you yell fire in a full theater?
I'd rather no.
See if that will put you in jail.
No. But here's the reason why Tide won't stop making the Tide Pods. Because it forces you to use the fully recommended amount of detergent in every load. If you buy a bottle of liquid detergent, you can use as much or as little detergent as you want to in every load. And if you do a light load, you can throw in a little bit of detergent. And that gives you a flexibility and control into how much detergent you use. But if you got Tide Pods and you're doing a light load, you just throw in the full dose. And then you go through detergent
But what if you
faster.
have a heavy load? Do you throw in 2 Tide Pods?
I don't know. It's up to you.
maybe.
The point
Yeah.
is that
And you throw in half a Tide Pod.
well, it would be different. You probably wouldn't, but you could. What I've done, because I got the smaller washing machine and I've got some generic pods that don't look delicious.
So you put too much soap every time.
No, I put the Tide Pod in a glass of water, and stir it up. So I got a glass of soapy water,
And that's easier just using liquid detergent.
and I'll pour half the glass. Well, I already had the pods when I got the washing machine.
But you own a washing machine now?
Yeah, it's a small.
So
little thing.
you have total freedom.
No, I don't have a dryer.
Yeah.
I'm still
Oh,
We tried
you
that.
have
We
half
tried that.
freedom.
I have half freedom.
Yes.
We tried that once.
I do have a microwave.
We got a dryer. We said, screw this.
So 3/4 freedom.
Anyways, yeah, getting a washer is easy because you use one of those little things that hooks up to your sink and no problem. Getting the dryer a little more difficult. Anyways, yeah, I was gonna look
They've
up.
got these things that look like a big egg. Put the clothes in it, and you just crank it, and that can
Crank-
serve as your dryer.
Crank it. What do you mean crank it?
Yeah, it's got a little crank on this egg thing, and the whole thing spins.
Oh well, no, the washer I have has a spin cycle section, but that doesn't get you completely dry.
Well, neither
Oh,
does
no.
this thing that you spin manually.
Well, why do I need something to spin
Because
manually
you
when I
wring
have
out basically you're wringing out the
Right.
excess water, and then you can put it on and line dry the rest.
right, and the washer already has that.
Gotcha. So then you go straight from the washer to the line dryer.
Well, I could hang things up on a line,
Right.
or I could take them down to the dryer and throw some quarters in there.
There you go. In Singapore, you'd see these apartments, and it looked like a flagpole sticking out. Because you didn't have, you couldn't go. You're in a high rise, so you can't go all the way out to the next building to have a full line. So you have this thing that looks like a flagpole, and you hook your laundry to it, and you run it out the flagpole.
I see.
They might be. I'm guessing they're 12 feet long or something.
Okay.
Yeah. Run your
You
shorts
could
up
do
the
that since
flagpole.
you're on a second story, right? Second level.
Wait, I'm sorry. I'm trying to figure out how to tune into Ian's show so I can see if he's live now or not. So maybe we can try to call him in a little bit. No, I don't have a line. I mean, I've got little things I could hang him around in the kitchen and maybe open up a window or something, but I don't have anything outside.
Do you have access
Yeah.
outside other than a window?
I mean, there's a yard, but I don't have a line out there.
You're on the second
Brian-
level.
I am on the
So,
second level.
Brian, you are
Yes,
running
sir.
your shorts up the flagpole.
Well, there you go, Venison. You got it.
I don't have a flagpole.
You could get one.
Say, Brian did.
I'm looking all over this radio website, and I don't have a tune-in link.
Whoops.
Go to talk. What is it? Talkradio.uk or something. And then you'll see a little pop-up banner that says live shows. You click on that, and then click on the show that popped up there.
Well, there's like 4 different live shows. What, they have 4 different streams?
Yes,
Which one is Ian on?
late night alternative.
All right. Well, I see Paul Ross, Extra Time, Ray Stubbs, and Virgin Radio through the night. So is he not live now? I thought he was live when we were live.
I think he might. I don't know exactly what times they are.
Huh.
I think he might be off now. I think he goes off at 8 o'clock our time.
No, but he called in near the end of our show while he was still live.
Huh. I don't know.
Maybe your show is later.
No, it's not. Hey.
Let's see if we can figure this out. Anyways, so what are other topics we could talk about tonight? Oh yeah, so I've taken up a new hobby.
Yeah, cheese.
Cheese. Yes, I'm making cheese out of yarn. Is what I'm doing.
Cheese.
Cheese. It's yeah.
Cheese.
Yeah, do you want to eat?
You-
Would you like to eat
Yeah.
my yarn cheese?
You had to be there.
I guess so. So yes,
We're not sure where that is.
I don't know. So yeah, I thought it'd be fun to do a little crocheting, just a little bit of it, and then I'll stop doing it probably. But I just was curious about it because I had a bunch of yarn hanging around.
And you only had yellow.
Well, no, I wanted to practice before I start using the good colors, so I started with the ugly color.
Ugly? It looks like cheese.
Yeah, I don't need a yellow blanket. I probably will use some blues, some white, and some black, and make
Go
it nice.
multicolored?
Yeah, get some.
So keep the yellow square.
But no, I'm not. This was a practice round. I'm not going to use this. I'm
Show
done.
the other one while we're
Oh,
while we're at it.
the little one. This was
The
attempt
first
number.
try.
This was number 1.
Okay.
Yeah. It's a little lopsided, but it
So how many different YouTube videos did it take to come up with the whole thing, or is it all in one?
No, I watched multiple YouTube videos, but that was while I was waiting for the needle to show up. Because I ordered it through Amazon Prime, so I had to wait 2 days. And I learned some different things. Basically you start by making a chain and then, kind of side stitch it together to get a circle. And from there you got, do a chain of 3. And if you crochet 2 stitch and then a chain. And I found that there were some different methods that people were using. Some people were putting a chain of 2 on the corners and a chain of 1 between the group of stitches. But what I had read online was saying to put a chain of 2 between everything. And then I found someone that was putting a chain of 2 between things on the rows, but a chain of 3 on the corners. And so I found that, there's different people have their different styles. So I was just doing chain of 2 between everything, and that seems to work out pretty good. I think the spacing works out nice.
So were you just looking up how to make granny squares or something?
Yeah, well, actually, like a while ago, I was going to look up how to make one of these. And
One of these. You mean granny square?
Well, I didn't know the term granny square when I started looking for this.
Oh, well, I'm going into how did you search for that? That's all.
Maybe some months ago or at some point in the past, I did a search on how to knit and tried to look for something that would show how to make this. Because if you asked me, I would have told you, yeah, my grandmother would knit blankets or afghans. And I had an image of her with yarn and two needles making this kind of a motion, and this kind of comes out.
Two big sticks.
Which was completely the wrong image and the wrong thing. This here is a granny square, and you crochet it, and that's one needle with a hook on the end of it that you use to manipulate the yarn into the shape. And so yeah, I started doing a little bit of searching, and at some point I found that it was actually crochet, and that this is called a granny square. And I did some watching YouTube videos. I watched multiple YouTube videos to kind of get different angles or different people's takes on it, because I wanted to be prepared to, once this needle arrived, I would already be an expert and just take the needle and just all of a sudden know what I'm doing. I was sitting here talking to Emily, and Emily was like, "You're gonna fail. You've never done this before. You're gonna fail so bad, And I'm like, "No, I watched YouTube videos. I know what I'm doing." And I take my needle, I tie a slip knot, I put it around the needle, I pull to tighten the slip knot, and the slip knot doesn't tighten. And I'm like, all right, let's try that again. So right off the bat, it wasn't looking very good when I was messing up tying a slip knot to start. But and then it's actually a little tricky to get things started, because it's all in the idea is to be consistent with how loose or tight your stitches are in the yarn, and you have control over that. But you have to make efforts to control it, and it's not easy to control it. As you can see, I mean, this looks like something. You look at this at a glance and go, yeah,
Hold
you made
it
that.
closer to the camera.
Yeah, but, I mean, you look closer at it, there's some unevenness, there's some lopsided there. Anyone that knows anything about crocheting would probably look at that and say...
They would probably give you a 4 out of 10. Right.
I mean, this hole is pretty big compared to some of these, like this one and this one here. Those are clearly two different sizes.
You got that little one there.
It's this is not very even. But this was, and it took me a few tries to get this far, because I knew the stitches, and I knew the moves to make, but I'd be doing it and something would mess up and I'd have to restart. And the thing about crocheting that I never realized is you're basically making one huge giant slip knot. Because now this one I basically finished it off and pulled the yarn through something, but the end of the arm that is wrapped around the needle, if you take the needle out and you start pulling at the end of the yarn, you could easily just pull this right back out into one big long piece of yarn again. And it's quite fun to I like taking something this size and just boom, now it's yarn. That's kind of cool. Not if you're actually.
So when you went to go to retry it, you did that, boom, and that was fun.
Well, yeah, it was easy.
It's like spending all the time to set up the whole string of dominoes, and then you go.
Yeah, pretty much. Now, Dune wants me to check YouTube chat, but I gotta find that, because it's not like there's plenty of other. All right, let's see. Where am I going? YouTube chat.
You have the side chat.
Dune's sending me things on certain chats to tell me to check other chats.
Nice. See, because I have the chat window up, side window there. I see nothing.
Okay, so that's not the right YouTube chat. So,
change the subject from crocheting. It's embarrassing.
What? There's nothing wrong with crocheting. I had the yarn, okay, because I was doing the plastic canvas and I ran out.
And why did you hit? Oh, the plastic canvas.
The plastic canvas, yes. Okay, I'm looking at notifications.
Actually, I was telling my sister-in-law about your plastic canvas project. She goes, yeah, we used to have that. She had worked at a yarn store in Santa Maria that's closed now. Betty's. Very
Okay.
famous Santa Maria. Apparently, they still have a store open in Santa Barbara. So if you're listening and you're from Santa Barbara, go to Betty's, and you'll say, "Boy, this place." No, I don't know if they're any good or not. They used to be really good in Santa Maria, and they've been closing their stores. The Betty's getting very old, and nobody cares.
Oh. Anyways, yeah, I've got the chat open in this YouTube stream, but there's nothing in there. And I'm looking at my YouTube account, but I don't have any messages there. Yeah. So if anyone has any ideas,
Dune is in limbo someplace.
it's in the live part, but can see here. So he's sending me a link to. Yeah. Oh. So if anyone has any ideas,
Dune is in limbo.
So, anyways, there you go. All right. So in here, I see nothing. Oh, there's a live chat over there. All right. So actually, someone was typing in, asking me if I could see this. This is great because the Hangout window has a chat room, but the chat room doesn't show me the actual chat that's taking place in the stream. So I don't see that unless I open this up. So this is, so Shaz Nat kind of liked the music and then said, wait, never mind. And then Rodri Thomas said he's offline now. He finished 50 minutes ago. He used to do a radio lock-in where he would carry on, but Talk Radio changed management. They have someone else on after Ian, whereas before the station would switch to Talk Sports. So yeah, it's too bad that we can't call him during our show now. Well, because I wanted to kind of share with him my my Sparks story since he recently interviewed
that
Russell
means
Mail.
your show is before our show.
Yeah.
It finishes before we begin.
Yeah. Well, yeah. That's pretty much. Yeah. He basically. So you can listen to Ian, and then when you're done listening to Ian, you can switch it on over here, and you don't have to make a choice. This is good for us, actually.
Right. So how many listeners have we got now?
That is a question. Let's take a look. Well, we got on the YouTube stream right now, we've got 3 viewers. And on the NHE streams, we've got 14 listeners. So that's a total of 17. And but anyways, he recently tweeted, and I retweeted his tweet, how Ian had done an interview with Russell Mail of Sparks, and I actually have a cool Sparks story, and I've told this before, but basically, Sparks released an album at one point called Introducing Sparks, and it was not their first album, It's like that album has not been reissued on CD from the master tape because it's the one album that Columbia owns the masters, and even though they have the rights to reissue, for some reason all the versions they've issued have been sourced from vinyl. The only thing that ever came out on master tape was the 2 singles from that album. Rhino put out a Sparks collection that includes 2 songs from the album, and they were able to gain access to the master tapes to remaster those songs. So 2 of the songs off that album have been reissued from master tape. But if you buy a CD of the actual album, it's sourced from vinyl. Kind of a bummer, but at least they were able to get it reissued and get it out there in some form. Well, I had this friend named Tim that lived in Milpitas, California, and he's the guy that makes his own coffee creamer. And that's not a euphemism or code for anything. I met him.
What does he make that from?
Well, that I'll tell that story, and that's revealed in the story. So this guy, I met him through the quadraphonic audio recording collecting circles, And I came through chatting with him to come to find out that he's got a storage locker filled with tapes that he needs help sorting. And he lives with a stepfather of some sort that has a truck, and I needed help moving when I was moving from Oakland to Hayward. And so he's like, I'll come over with the truck a weekend. We'll take a few truckloads over to your new place, and then next weekend we'll come over to the storage locker. You help me sort through the tapes, and heck, I'll lend you some tapes if you want to borrow any of them. And and he promised all this great stuff, which he had interesting stuff, but none of the stuff he actually promised. And so but it was still cool trolling through these various. I mean, this guy had worked at different transfer studios. He worked, I think, in radio. Had friends that worked in radio, and if someone was throwing out a bunch of tapes, he took them, and he was he took his hobby to a level I've not taken mine to. The level of he is paying monthly expenses to store all his shit. I just keep mine all around and, trip over it every night. I ain't paying extra
At some
money.
place, you have to move into a bigger place. That's all.
Right, which would turn
But you're
into
still paying rent, right?
Right, but
I
but
mean,
he
it's
was,
kind of the same.
well,
It's just that you're not. In his case, he's not living with it.
right.
Whereas you're sharing the space with your stuff.
Right, but he's paying a monthly expense just to store his shit. I've got to live someplace, and it's.
Well, that's a monthly expense to live there.
well, but that's different.
Same, only different.
He had way more stuff than I. He had way more stereo. He had a lot of different old console stereos, and they were all shit. And they probably didn't even all work completely, and were in need of restoration or repair. And even then, they weren't like the top of the line models. I mean, they were like Sound Design's budget model. So Venison knows what I'm talking about. This was not stuff worth saving. This was not stuff worth holding on to. The tapes, however, were definitely worth holding on to. I'm not going to give them too much flack over that. And so I helped him troll through the tapes, label some of the stuff, sort some of the stuff out, and there was a few things that were quadraphonic related. He had some quad 8 tracks that I borrowed. He had a few quad reels that may have been dubs. I don't know from what or what generation. But the most interesting thing I found in there was a tape that was in a box that was labeled Sparks Quad, or it was labeled Sparks, and it was indicated on there that it was quad. Like the paper that was taped to it had a checkbox to mark if it was stereo or mono, and someone actually made their own checkbox next to it called quad and checked that. And I was like, huh. I mean, the only Sparks I know is, Russ and Ron Mail, the band Sparks. Is this and Sparks never released anything in quad. And I'm like, could this really be Sparks in quad? Or is this a different Sparks? I mean, it could be some local band that didn't realize there was already a band named Sparks that called themselves Sparks, recorded a tape that got thrown in the trash. I mean, I thought it was a long shot that this would really be a quad mix of something by Sparks. And I'm trying to find the actual files to pull up right now. But it turned out it was a rough quadraphonic mix of introducing Sparks. But it wasn't even the complete album, and it included 2 songs that had never been released before. And it was the greatest thing I found there. And but here I'll play like a little bit of the first song here, and you can hear it starts with stick clicks and counting it off, which is not how it starts on the album. And this is one of the songs I think was released as a single called A Big Surprise. And this is a less polished mix from what was on the album.
Know a lot of things. I know each muscle on your back and every toe.
The actual stereo mix has some more reverb on it.
I can tell from your eyes, disguising the ace that you
When do you think this was done?
This album, I think this was done mid-late 70s. 77 is what comes to mind. But we could Google that.
Yeah.
Which is around the end of the Quad era. Quad's phasing out.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was released in 1977. So I'm guessing someone was doing some test mixing in Quad. Maybe there was some thoughts or plans of possibly doing a Quad mix. But this is certainly not a final Quad mix. I mean, it's missing 3 songs and is including 2 songs that were cut. So this is something that was... I don't know the story, but it implies that
Chances are they were started to work on it and then kind of abandoned that angle.
Right. Yeah.
So you got something rare.
Yeah, well, because then I started, asking around, has anyone ever heard of this? I even sent, shortly after I found it, I sent a memo along to Sparks to their website saying, hey, I found this tape of, a quad mix of introducing Sparks that includes 2 songs that I can only guess are called Kidnapped and Keep Me. Do you know anything about this tape? Let me know if you'd like to know more about it. And I never heard back from them. So I was like, oh, they don't care. So then a few years later, there was a thread on the Hoffman forums about Sparks. And so I posted on there, does anyone know anything about unreleased songs called Kidnapped and Keep Me? Because I was searching on the internet and I found nothing even mentioned about these songs on the internet. And this guy responded and said, I've heard of those. No one's ever heard them, though. But yeah, those are 2 songs that I guess a book had mentioned that they had recorded 2 other songs during the sessions for introducing Sparks that were finished but not used. And he's like, if you have those, that's pretty rare. And so I sent him along a copy. I posted them to YouTube. I bounced them down to stereo and posted them to YouTube. And next thing I know, Sparks' manager emails me directly and says, hey, we'd like a copy of the tape, and could you please take that down off of YouTube? And now those 2 songs actually float around in Sparks collecting bootleg circles, and I can only guess that it's from someone grabbed it off of the YouTube while it was posted up there. But let's see. Oh, this is Occupation. That's one off the album. Well, actually, just here, let me go back to Big Surprise so I can demonstrate how the quad mix is here.
I want a big surprise tonight.
So this is the front channel.
Really big surprise tonight. It's boy meets girl, and here we go on
So it's got a nice quad spread. Plus, there's double-tracked vocals, of which they put one in the front, one in the back. So that's kind of cool. Let's see if I can find the 2 unincluded songs. No, that's not it. Oh, here we go. Here's one of the unused songs. Keep Me. Keep Me. Please keep me, girl.
Baby, I'm begging for more. Oh, keep me, please keep me, girl. Keep me by your side at least one more night. Oh, keep me when I'm not there.
I mean, it's not their strongest songs, and they were, kept off the album for a reason, but it is still, interesting to have those bonus tracks. And I did get a digital copy of the tape to them, which they might possibly use for something at some point. I don't know. I guess they don't have the master tapes for it. Well, I don't even have the stereo mix of the released album. They had to go to vinyl for that. So who knows? Maybe someday a Sparks Rarities collection will be put out that include these 2 songs. That'd be great. It'd be nice if they put my name on it somewhere. Here's the other one.
Kidnap, counting on everyone. On a smoggy day just like today, but several years ago, I'd walked until I realized there wasn't nowhere to go when this Pontiac chrome all pulled up to my side. Sonny boy, wanna ride? They didn't wait for my reply. Grab him, that's...
So yeah, that's Kidnapped. Now Rodri says that Ian would love this. Well, you know what? We do our pre-show at 7 o'clock. Maybe we should, next week, instead of, doing show prep, which doesn't work well for us anyways. We should just call
Yeah, we
Ian.
talk about content that we won't use.
Right, yeah, like, you catch me up on how Nick's doing, and we, because we never talk about Nick during the show.
Right.
How is Nick doing?
Fine. He's out of the hospital.
Okay. He was back in?
Yeah, he was in. Well, I think I told you he was in for like 4 days.
Well, you told me he was in, but then he was out. And you've told me
Yeah.
twice he was in and out, but for the same occurrence. Are you still talking about the same occurrence where he was in
Yeah,
and
there's
out?
only one occurrence.
Oh, okay. All right. Yeah, okay. All right. All right. So his condition has not changed. He's still out of the hospital.
Well, last I heard, I haven't talked to him in a while.
See, this is how bad we did at show prep, that we didn't even talk about the stuff that is
That's right.
boring.
We weren't going to talk about.
No, but we did talk about the nuclear option in the Senate.
Right. Which they didn't use.
Yeah, which I didn't use. Rodri says I need to tweet him. Love it. Got to go to bed. All right. Well, good night. Thank you for tuning in.
Yeah,
And-
good night.
Oh, lots of love and respect from Wales, UK. That reminds me of a really lame joke you've probably heard way too many times.
What's that?
I think the joke is something like, there's these two large women sitting at a bar, and like the guy comes up and goes, "Are you two British, or from England?" It's like, "No, we're from Wales." No, it's Wales. Oh, are you two whales from England or something? Oh, I forget. I totally just butchered the
You
telling
just
of it.
butchered the joke.
I just butchered.
Typical.
That's why you're not in stand-up comedy.
Well, no. I could do stand-up comedy. I just can't do it while telling jokes.
I could do it better. I've got stories.
Yeah. See, that's the thing. Stand-up comedy is not for jokes. It's for stories, and preferably of the funny variety. But that's not required,
Yeah.
as we've seen many times. All right. I was at the bar the other night with my buddy having some beers. We had been there a while when two large girls come up to the bar and ordered some drinks. I noticed when they ordered, they both had strong accents. So I said, "Hi, you two girls from Scotland?" One of them spoke up with quite an attitude and said, "It's Wales, you idiot." So I immediately said, "Sorry, are you two whales from Scotland?"
There you go. There's the joke.
And this telling isn't even the best telling, because I think the better telling is and like something about, and that's all I remember until I came to later. Because he rightfully had his ass kicked by the two whales from Scotland or from Wales.
Digging a deeper hole.
Digging a deeper hole. No, I don't. Hey, I'm not talking to the whale. The whales aren't tuned in, I don't think. Anyways, good night, whale. Is it okay? What do you call people from Wales? Wales? No, I guess not. Yeah, but I'll have to tweet that to Ian, or we can give him a call during show prep. Anyway, yeah, no, he would like that. That's cool. Glad he would like that. That's my funny story about Sparks.
Now then, I got a little something for you. You just remind me of that. As far as doing interviews with celebrities and blah blah blah. Many years ago, we almost did, and it was a mistake. Yes, to all. We, apparently, somebody was goofing around. It was just a goof. And, because they read about something about Frank Zappa, coming to various areas doing interviews, on various stations. And he said, and one of our shows when it said, "Hey, what the hell? Have them come on our show," and all like that. Just as a joke. They weren't even thinking about anything serious. They weren't expecting any callback or anything. So they said, "Yes, come and do an interview with our show." And they laughed about it. About a month later, they got an email. "Zappa will be in your general area. Would you still like him to come over and do a show?" They're like, they slightly panicked because they weren't expecting this. And they went and wrote back and said, no, that's okay. We're not really that big. It's like, oh, no.
Gone for it.
That thing. So, oh, no problem. We can just have them come out there. But, they got scared. They got scared and they declined.
That's too bad. They should have just gone for it.
Yeah.
See, because
go
Johnny and I have always dreamed that Bill Shatner would join our show.
William Shatner, yes.
That's right. Or Bill Gates.
Or Bill Gates, yes.
Totally awesome.
Well, I've invited several times Bill Gates to be a co-host on the show. I've set my sights a little lower now with the cashier around the corner at the grocery store, which I do have an update to trying to recruit the cashier to co-host. Because I did my grocery shopping Friday night like I always do, and I accidentally, and this wasn't a accidentally air quotes, I honestly forgot to pick up the cream. And it was okay because Saturday morning I had enough cream for my coffee that day, but I used the last of it, and so I had no cream for my coffee for Sunday. So I'm like, well, I'm going to have to go to the grocery store again to get some cream if I'm going to have cream with my coffee tomorrow. So now Friday night, future co-host cashier was not working. So I did not have a chance to engage in conversation and follow up on the invite to move in with us. No, not that I was going to do that. That was just a joke, and it'd be creepy if I tried to joke about it again. You can only get away with that once. You can only get away with inviting your grocery store cashier to move in with you once. Once you do it a second time, it's creepy. Or
then he does it.
Or he does it. Either way, it doesn't end well. Then again, it would be easier for him to be a co-host if he moved, but well, I'd have to clear out space for him to sleep, and we have to feed him and water him, and make sure he gets sunlight.
What you need to do is put together pre-written. So if he does show up, you say, okay, but you have to sign this roommate agreement.
We'll get Sheldon to draft something up.
Exactly.
All right. But that's not what we did. So Saturday night, I pick up the cream, and sure enough, he's running register 13. So I get the cream. I walk towards the checkout area with the cream. There are 5 self-checkouts, all with green lights on them, no waiting, no one there, and I'm holding one lone single item. And I walk past them. There's another checkout line with a light lit up, someone standing there, the person's just walking away, there's no line, I walk right past there. I go to line 13, where future co-host cashier is there, and I get behind a person with a filled cart of groceries that is starting to unload them on the belt. So this has got to be clearly obvious that this is intentional to anyone paying attention.
And as soon as you do it, then you're committed.
Yeah, and then I'm committed. Well, I'm committed.
Yeah, you've been committed for a lot of things.
Well,
Yes.
I don't think this was a complete success, but it was a start. So he brings out the person with the cashier while talking about someone getting fined for saying something on some sports show, and she goes on her way with her groceries. I get up there, hey, how you doing? Good. He rings the item. He goes, you need a bag for that? And I said, no, I'll be fine. And he goes, oh, well, I'm not fine. Or something like that. He's like, are you sure you're fine? Yeah, I'm not fine. I'm like, well, and so when he said he's like not fine, I said, well, you know what helps with that? Listening to my internet radio show on Mondays at 8 p.m. on nhbradio.com. And he's like, wait, what was that? I was like, no, my internet radio on. It's like, well, what were we talking about? I was like, well, to help, you can listen to my internet radio show, nhbradio.com, 8 p.m. on Mondays. And he goes, well, what does that help with? Like, he totally missed it. And so I'm there awkwardly explaining it. And so he's like, what does that help with? At this point, I'm ready to, finish the transaction, walk away. I'm like, well, life, the universe, everything. Oh, okay. And then he, gives you the receipt, circles the thing, with like, here's a thing that do the questionnaire to be entered for an opportunity to win $500 in what is it? Gift cards. I'm always forgetting gift cards. I'm like, oh, so it's not Schrute Bucks? He goes, no, not Schrute Bucks. Okay. All right, good night, and went on my way. So I don't think he's going to remember nh3radio.com. I didn't get a
That's why you
business
need to have
card.
that business card that specifically shows the business, radio show, the date, the time.
I'll probably just get a 3x5 index card and write, totally legit business card across the top of it, and then write out the show name and the URL and everything.
All handwritten.
And just hand that to him going, here's my card. Totally legit.
You know what you should do? You make out that hand-done card, and then scan it so that you've got it, and you can send it to people also.
I like the personalized touch. I'll make everyone their own personal card.
This seems
everything.
legit.
Wow, that's a good idea.
Yeah, because how
Just
often
don't,
do I...
just don't get it wrong.
I mean, I've been doing this show for over 10 years. This is the first time I'm handing out a card. I think I can handle one handwritten card every 10 years.
Good point.
So there is that.
But if you scan it, you could keep a copy for yourself as a memento electronically.
I don't know. I don't care about mementos from my show. I live my show.
Yeah, but you record them, don't you?
I record the shows, but I don't need every note card I write out. I also am in possession of the founder and host of the show. That I'm inseparable. I'm inseparable from him. I'm in touch with myself on a daily basis. Wait,
You're touching
what?
yourself.
Yeah.
Let's go back to the donkey.
Really? You'd rather think of a donkey than me?
No, just you and the donkey.
Wait, what?
Yeah, that's how that works.
Okay, all right. Let's go. Let's go back to the step siblings.
Chill out.
Wait, why is there a dick in me?
I did not do that. It just fell and slipped in. I did not do that. Get off.
No, it feels good.
No.
It feels good.
Just slipped and fell.
Fell in.
Yes.
Some
Just slipped
some
and fell
people.
in. So, let's check out more Resident.
Yeah. Oh, yes, right. Let's see. Yeah, we've passed the.
We've only
donkey.
checked out some of the bonus materials on the first one.
Yeah.
Yeah, we haven't checked out Third Reich and Roll, any of their bonus tracks. Now, Venison, you're familiar with Third Reich and Roll, right?
Oh yeah, and Third Reich and Rule.
Third Reich and Roll.
ROOL.
See, the premise of Third Reich and Roll was basically making a medley of like top 40 radio as performed by, I don't know, but here, I'll give you an idea.
Yeah, that comes here. Und touch.
Yeah, okay, it starts with, we're going to do the twist here.
Ich sing meinen Song, wenn du hörst den Don. Den tanzen, den Twist, bist du mit der Best.
Well, that kind of took a left turn all of a sudden.
Yeah.
Yes.
So we're going to do the Land of 1,000 Dances, or Land of 10,000 Dances instead. It's coming in here. This is fun, isn't it? And the whole album is just 2 side-long medleys of them doing top 40 songs of the time period. And this came out in 76. It is unique, and you got to respect it in a way. Here, we'll skip ahead a little bit and see. Oh, this is Double Shot of My Baby Love.
Sounds like chanting monks. With helicopters.
Yes.
No fighter planes.
Ah, there you go. Coming in just for a strafing run.
Yes, exactly. This is great stuff. I like this album. It's a classic. And let's see, I own this album. I got a vinyl copy. I've got a CD reissue without bonus tracks, CD version with bonus tracks, and now I got this 2 CD with previously unreleased. So I have 4 copies of this album. I bought this album 4 times now.
By the way, this is not as cool as this. Actually,
Yeah.
it's more like the Sparks you were
Yeah.
just playing. Music Therapy Experiment.
Music
Not
therapy.
quad, though.
Okay. That's okay. This isn't either. Now this is the letter. All right. Experiment, you said? What's the music experiment?
Therapy Experiment.
Oh, I'm supposed to Google this?
Yeah, I guess.
Alright. All right. There is a music therapy experiment home on Facebook. The music therapy experiment, make it home. What am I looking for, Brian?
Look for something that sounds interesting.
Well, I already did that. That's what we're listening to right now.
Oh, this is it?
No, you didn't say what specifically I'm looking for.
Music Therapy Experiment.
Well, this could be a music therapy experiment, but
Well, no, I'm talking about the band that's named that.
oh, it's the name of a band.
What were you thinking?
I don't know. I thought it was an experiment. I didn't realize it was the name of a band.
Well, that was the title, and I
You-
said it twice at least.
You said music therapy experiment, but you didn't say there's a band called Music Therapy Experiment. You said there's this thing, Music Therapy Experiment. I'm like, okay, when did they meet? Or is this a new medical treatment? Or, is this the name of a piece of music? You didn't say what it was.
It's a band.
It's a band. Okay.
That's how it's a page on Facebook. Right.
Okay. All right. Well, it didn't. I thought it was actually a therapy center that used music for therapy. All right. So here we go. This is Mozart's Earworm. All right, that's not bad. Is that what you were looking for?
Yeah. Well, actually, that's probably a different album that I picked up.
All right, what's the name of the album?
You don't know.
I already forgot. Hang on. Oh, Make It Home.
By who?
Music Therapy Experiment.
Oh.
All right. I think I found that. So it's kind of an easy rock type thing.
Well, they have some mixture of stuff.
Okay.
Sound 70s.
Well, this is them recording the song in the studio on YouTube. Okay, it's not bad. Okay.
I mean, that would sound like you would be perfect hold music.
Well, yeah. Which I've spent a lot of time on hold with UPS the past few days.
I was following that, and you were a little annoyed with them.
A little.
And I wanted to reply and said, "Hey, by the way, and FedEx has better hold music."
No, now Venison thought that FedEx had better music, but you didn't like the fact that they interrupt with the announcement, and I still prefer the driving beat of the UPS hold music. I you know, it's but I did get to spend a lot of time listening to this loop today and Friday. Here's what
this
happened.
is the UPS one.
Yes.
Oh, okay. See, I had it backwards.
Yeah.
Of course, I'm dyslexic anyway. So.
Oh, well, that would explain it.
Terrible service, but great hold music.
Yes, exactly.
Right.
All right. Well, here's what happened.
But it was the FedEx guy that we talked to, and he put you on hold so we would have the full experience.
We had a new person starting work on Friday in New York City. And so a laptop was set up for her, and we had it ready to go out the door on Thursday. And so my coworkers were very diligent about making sure it was sent next day delivery, and they decided, you know what, we don't want this new person to get a late start, you know, so we're gonna go the extra mile and we're gonna send it next day early delivery so that it's guaranteed to be there before 8 a.m. And so Friday we get there, we check the tracking information, and they attempted to deliver, but there was no one there and the office was closed. And so they attempted a redelivery, no one was there, the office was still closed. So then people are there and they're like, hey, where's this laptop? And next thing I know, I mean, at this point, I'm not dealing with this. I didn't set up this laptop. I didn't send this laptop. My coworkers are dealing with this. But I keep hearing them updating it, and every time it gets worse, because then someone at that office decided we're going to call UPS and send someone to pick up the package, going like, yeah, whatever. Just hold it there. We'll come get it. And so UPS holds the package when the delivery guy comes back, gives them a call and says, okay, the package is ready to be picked up. She goes to the UPS to pick up the package. The person at the counter says, no, it's still out for delivery. We don't have a package for you. So then at this point, I'm like, okay, fuck this. I'm angry just hearing about this. I'm going to, you know, I want to bitch at someone about this. And besides, it's an opportunity to take a listen to my favorite hold music.
Here we go.
So I call up UPS. At this point, actually, that's good story music.
Yes,
tell the story playing that. I love it. It's
yeah,
great.
Because most of the story takes place with this music playing.
Yes, exactly.
So I call up UPS, and I say I need to talk to a supervisor. Okay.
You're on hold again.
I spent about 10 minutes listening to this. And so I explained to the supervisor what's going on, how... well, here's one thing I found out. While I'm waiting on hold, I get clarification. There's no one in the lobby to accept packages until 10 o'clock at this office. So we made a mistake sending it for the early delivery because it just set us up for failure. So I'm like, okay, our mistake. We should not have sent this for early AM delivery when there's no one there to accept it.
These people that actually did the order didn't know that.
Right, we don't...
and didn't check it. They just threw it in a box.
Right.
The UPS guy.
They figured it's a office building in New York City. Someone's going to be there at 7 in the morning.
Oh, absolutely.
But no. This is the one building in New York City that is unattended until 10 o'clock.
Right.
You know, go figure. Well, we don't have a real office there. It's like one of these buildings that has lots of small shared office areas that you like rent a small area because we only have a few people working out of New York City these days.
Right.
So it's we don't have a full office there. So I guess this building just doesn't have a reception or attendee in the lobby till 10. Sometime between 9:30 or 10. So I'm like, all right. They're like, look, get them to deliver it on Monday after 10. I'm like, all right, well, I'm going to try to get them to deliver it today because the way they've jerked us around today, if they can get it there, they owe us a little bit of going out of their way. I'm like, how late is this office open? They're open till 5. All right, it's 3 o'clock. I'm gonna start by demanding that they get it there by 5 o'clock today, and then we'll, maybe they'll negotiate me to Monday. So I talk to the supervisor. I tell the supervisor, no, you need to get this thing
supervisor out in Massachusetts.
No, the supervisor for UPS on the 800 number.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
And the supervisor is like, well, I'll call the local center. I'll work it out with them. I'll let you know. I don't think we're going to get it there today. They'll call you back. We'll get someone to call you back.
Let me ask you this. Why wasn't the recipient involved in this?
Well, the recipient was involved. We were all involved.
I mean, talking to UPS to figure out when they could pick it up or get it.
Well, they did that, and UPS told them to come pick it up, and then when they went to pick it up, UPS told them, no, it's out for delivery. So at this point, we're responsible for issuing laptops to people. So we follow this. We follow this to the end. We follow.
Right.
We get the laptop in the hands of the person. We get them logged in.
Right.
We make sure everything's working. We see this through to the end.
Right.
So that's why I'm on the phone with UPS going, dude, what the fuck you up to over there? Because it certainly ain't delivering packages.
Now, the intended recipient, was this person mad about there's no laptop there?
I don't know. I wasn't the person setting up this laptop.
But you didn't talk to that person?
No, I just said, let me deal with UPS.
They didn't really care. So
they cared.
You're the consultant that were involved in the shipment.
Things get escalated to me in our department. So I was like, you worry about that. I'll deal with the knuckleheads at UPS. Because they were getting the runaround by UPS and letting UPS walk all over them.
And you know how to handle that kind of thing.
No, they walk all over me too. But at least I.
Yeah, but you can deal with that.
Yeah, I wanted to yell at someone.
Right.
Oh yeah, he knows how to handle it. He ends up being blacklisted by everybody.
So I, am kind of firm but polite with the supervisor that, you all messed this all up, and so then I get off the phone. The supervisor tells me someone at the local center will call me back within the hour. I get off the phone. 5 minutes later, I get a call from the same supervisor again, and she goes, "Well, I've talked to the local center. They're going to call you back. They're going to reattempt delivery on Monday before 8 o'clock. And I said, but that doesn't work. The building doesn't open till 10. She goes, yeah, but you sent it early a.m. delivery, so we have to attempt it before 8 a.m. I said, yeah, but that was for today. You've already missed a delivery. Now we're scheduling a redelivery at the correct time. If you
and nobody's going to be there.
And she's like, yeah, but we have to attempt it before 8. And then we'll make a second attempt after 10. And I'm like, this is how this whole problem started this morning when you started trying to deliver it too early. No, don't do this. Is bullshit, is what this is. She's like, well, I'll talk to the local center. I'm like, whatever. You're wasting time. Goodbye. I'm exaggerating. I was polite to her still. I was a little like.
And you got on hold again.
Well, no. Then the local people called me back, and I talked to that guy. And that guy, I was like, he's like, we're going to reattempt delivery before 8 a.m. on Monday. I'm like, no, I've told you, this building is not open to accept packages until after 10. Why are you going to go there during the time that it's closed, that you know it's closed? Why are you wasting your time?
We've already told you that you're wasting your time.
Right. And he goes,
right.
It's sent early a.m. delivery. We have to attempt it before 8 a.m. or we're not meeting our obligation. I'm like, you already didn't meet your obligation. Your obligation was to get it delivered the next day, which is today.
Right. You've already screwed it up.
I care more about the day than the hour. How does delivering it before 8 a.m. 4 days later count? And he's like, but it's early a.m. delivery. We have
the customer said change the order. Right?
It's like, you mean that when something's sent early a.m. delivery, it's more important to follow that instruction than to do what the customer tells you to do.
Exactly.
And it's like, yeah, but in our system, we have to do that because you paid for that service, so we have to attempt it. I'm like, but that was for today.
Give me a refund on that
You
service.
already missed it. Well, they don't want to give us a refund on that. And as long as they
ask them and see what they say.
As long as they follow the appropriate procedures, which is, at this point, as far as they're concerned, it's our fault for not being there to accept the package, and they're going to continue to try delivering it before 8 a.m. every day to continue meeting their obligation every day. And also, when I said, well, what about when we came and picked it up? Oh, she came and picked it up before we called her to tell her to pick it up. I'm like, nah, that's not what they told me. So at some point, I said to him, look, we could just solve this whole thing if you can get it there before 5 o'clock today. He's like, I can't get it there before 5. What do you mean you can't get it there before 5 o'clock? Just get the package in a truck and get it over there before. No, man. Well, all the trucks don't come back to the shipping center until 5. You don't have a brown truck anywhere in the city nearby you that you can get over there. And he's like, no. They come back if they're done with the delivery. I'm like, oh, what about you? What are you doing?
They don't have a deal with Uber?
I didn't suggest that, but I said, what about you? What are you doing right now? He's like, I'm dispatching. I said, well, you got a car, don't you? And he actually laughed at that, like I was telling a joke.
Good one.
And it did
was
lighten
a good
the
one.
mood. And so, but he said, look, all right, I could get it there at 6. Would 6 work? And I'm like, no, 6. Look, if I was at that building, I'd hang out till 6 and get this package. But you know, I'm not there. I'm in Boston. I can't help you out. So he said, okay, we'll deliver it Monday. We have to make the first attempt before 8. I know it's stupid, but we will make the redelivery after 10 and we'll get it there. All right, you better. And he gave me their local number so I can call them directly if there's some kind of problem and it's not getting delivered. So fast forward to today. 10 o'clock comes and goes. I pull up the tracking information. The package is still waiting there to be picked up. They didn't change it to be redelivered on Monday today.
Aha!
So I am
So much for that detail.
Yeah. So I call them up and I'm like, what in the hell is going on over there? You know, why did you not deliver the package today? I don't know why we didn't. We got to call them. So at this point, and here's the other thing. My coworkers, they're doing things without telling me what they're doing too. It turns out, even though they're supposed to deliver it on Monday, and that would have been fine, one of my coworkers had a funny feeling that it wasn't going to happen, and he didn't want to trust UPS with this.
He's psychic then.
So he built another laptop and sent that overnight to be delivered
Early?
Monday morning. Not early, normal time.
Right.
And so they got that delivery today. So at this point, we don't even need this package to be delivered. Of course, I didn't know that until after I had the phone call saying, what the hell, why have you not delivered this? Because then one of the other coworkers who was dealing with UPS called them up and said, look, we don't care anymore. Send it back to us. We don't need the laptop there anymore. We sent another laptop while you were all fucking this up. And they said, oh, we can send it back to you, but we're going to have to charge you delivery for that.
Oh, good one.
We'll just bill it to you, though. Don't worry. We'll send it back to you. We'll bill you. We'll bill your account. And he comes to me. He's like, these guys are assholes. I'm like, what's going on? He's like, well, they're going to send it back to us. I'm
Well,
like,
are you going to give a refund for that delivery that they couldn't make?
You know, here's the thing, is I ended up getting them to waive that fee, but I couldn't get the refund on that. At this point, it was not worth my time anymore because it's not my money.
Right.
But I called them up and I was like, oh, hell no, you're not charging us. You know, let me tell you, you messed this up. You messed this whole thing up. That's why we had to send another laptop, because you kept messing this up. Why are you charged? Why should we have to pay for the return shipping? And she said, all right, she canceled it. She put it in a different way. And she said, you're not going to get charged for that. And I'm like, yeah, but after I hung up and I told them, all right, I made that fee go away. They said, yeah, but we're still getting billed for the overnight delivery. And at that point, well, the thing is arguably it was partially our fault because we did send it to be delivered at a time that the building wasn't open.
Right.
So,
and you probably didn't know that.
Right. We didn't know that.
Right.
But
that's why you need to get clear instructions from the receiver.
Right.
On when it can arrive.
If you want to make
Absolutely.
If you want to make sure something's arriving the next day, you do more than send it next day delivery. You confirm with the recipient that they're ready to receive it at that time. So, yeah, that was a little bit on us. I still
you gotta do your homework. Is the moral?
Yeah,
of the story.
but also UPS completely botched the redelivery.
Right, absolutely. So there's that one job guy on Twitter. He got one job.
Yeah.
And he posts the article about, Eric Clapton losing his hearing,
Okay.
and they had a picture of Paul McCartney.
Yes.
and,
that was.
the comments following that were hilarious. It's like, not only is losing his hearing, but he's changing the look of his face.
Yeah. Yeah, that
my
is.
God.
Well, they're both musicians, you know. They're
Right,
both
right.
famous. They're both.
And it's so sad.
They're both British.
Right.
They
They both could play the guitar.
yeah. Eric Clapton going deaf. Paul McCartney possibly
Put
dead.
the music back on. I got a story.
Okay.
So I was working out this hit, and we had to hire some programmers.
Okay.
And so, we interviewed a bunch of guys, and we brought them in, and we selected Elton.
Elton.
Okay, Elton, you can start with us.
Elton or Elton?
Elton.
Elton.
So, okay. Yeah. We got him. He's the best guy. And the manager said, okay, so can you start Monday? And the guy says, well, I could, but I'd kind of like to take a week off just to kind of get myself organized and whatever, a little vacation time in. Would that be okay? He says, no, we really need to have you in on Monday. Absolutely. I was looking forward to a few days off, but if you got to have me, what the hell? I'll be in. So he shows up, and we don't have a computer for him.
Oh.
And all week long, this guy is steaming that what the fuck did I come in a week earlier than I wanted to for nothing? And we can't blame UPS or FedEx or anybody.
That's bullshit right there. What was the reasoning?
That was the manager that screwed it up.
The manager so the manager was not basing this on real need, but more of a power play.
Oh, absolutely.
Standard corporation.
That's the type of person you probably don't want to work for. I mean, so I'm thinking day one when you're like, well, this guy just made a power play to get me in.
Well,
here.
yeah. Now, in the end, this is actually bizarre. So as things were going on, you get your annual review, blah blah blah, right? Kind of standard thing.
Right.
And Elton wasn't getting his review. It's like, Mr. Manager, what's with my review? Oh, I'm working on it. Don't worry about it. And time went on. Oh, I'm working on it. No big deal. And then the manager announces that he was going to leave the company. So he goes to him again. Please do my review before you leave. He says, oh, absolutely, I will. Pop, he's out the door. Never did the review. Motherfucker. And it's not like there was animosity between them or anything like that. It's just that's the way things worked out. It was bizarre.
Why did he care so much about the review, though? I mean, was it?
Well, he wanted to be in his folder with HR, so then he could get a raise. In fact, this company would tie a raise to that review.
Oh, I see. But
so he's also looking for a raise,
and the new guy won't do it.
Well,
I mean,
the new guy won't know anything. So hey, I can't review this guy. How am I going to this guy a raise? Yeah.
So this company didn't have a process that this has to happen, and then your annual raise is determined based on that. It happens at the discretion of the supervisor, or it's possible to get overlooked.
Yeah.
Right. And HR didn't do anything about it.
Standard corporation.
That sucks.
Yeah. And this is a smaller corporation. That's why it really sucks. Smaller corporations tend to take care of their people better. At least in my experience.
It varies.
It does vary. Right.
Very much so.
Yeah. Now, I haven't, had that kind of problem. I mean, this guy always did my reviews fine.
Yeah. Huh.
course, who doesn't like me, right?
Oh, of course, you're Brian.
That's right, man. I'm everybody's friend.
Yeah, exactly. Everybody likes Brian.
I suppose he was too, except for the boss.
Everybody likes Brian except Neo and
Neo?
I don't. I think she complained about you talking too much a few times.
Well, you know, that's part of being Brian.
That's part. There is that.
Unfortunately.
But then
Hey, it
again,
could be worse. You could be my brother Steve.
But then again, Neo hates everyone, so it's okay.
Could be my brother Steve, though. You talking about a talker?
Oh, really?
He'd be taking over the show.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't. No, he'd be getting muted.
Possibly.
Keep in mind, I retain control of the show.
That's right.
If I want to.
Yeah, because you got the mute button.
I only let people take control if I decide to let them do it.
So, Venison, if I'm interrupting you, you can blame Jonathan.
No, I'll yell at your ass.
That's all right. Hey, because I'm Brian, man. I can take it.
Oh, really?
Oh, I think my story's over, so the hold music can stop.
Oh, no.
Unless you want to continue it. I mean, it's fine.
Crank it up.
Crank it up.
Yeah.
Anyways, no. Well, let's. We didn't finish listening to. We didn't get to any of the Third Reich and Roll bonus tracks. We're only listening to parts of the album.
And incidentally, a side trivia quiz.
Yeah.
Spin-off movie from SNL, which was the highest grossing?
Highest grossing SNL spin-off movie. Well, I don't think it would be It's Pat. And it's probably not the Coneheads.
Coneheads was actually funny, but
I mean, yeah.
But it wasn't the highest grossing.
Night at the Roxbury was okay.
I never saw that.
I'm thinking Blues Brothers.
Came in number 2.
Really? What did better than
That
Blues?
surprised the crap out of me.
That, yeah. Well, it wasn't Blues Brothers 2000.
That the only good thing about the Brothers 2000, because the rest of it sucked, was the very ending when you had all of these musicians, and that was unbelievable.
Yeah, and Paul Schaefer finally got to make an appearance in a movie with them.
Right.
Let's see.
Top grossing. Back to the top grossing.
Top.
Venison,
grossing.
you can play this game.
Saturday Night
I'm out.
Live.
I'm out of ideas.
What other Saturday Night Live movies were there? I mentioned Night at the Roxbury. It's Pat.
And
Coneheads.
get this. This is a movie I have not watched. And I kind of go, damn, and it was the top grossing? Wayne's World.
Oh, I forgot about Wayne's World. That would have been my second guess if I remembered it. Yeah.
Right. No, but that
Wayne's
was number
World.
1.
That was pretty big. That was a pretty big one. I mean, heck, that was worth it alone for the Bohemian Rhapsody scene in the car.
Oh, sure. Yeah. In fact, when the trivia came up about this, they mentioned that scene. Again, I haven't watched it, so don't spoil it, me.
Well, it does have multiple endings, so even if we spoiled one, there's 2 more.
Okay, how many endings?
It ends, and they decided that that's not how they want to end it, so they go back in time a little bit, and you'll watch it, right?
Yeah.
You'll totally watch it.
But let's, I guess, saying more would give it away, right?
It's a pretty silly movie.
You know what? I don't remember it now.
I mean, even the title,
tells
us that it's a silly movie.
Yeah, well, you know what? Watching Wayne's World is kind of like being friends with Genocide Rob. And that's not a joke or anything. That's absolutely serious. Because Genocide Rob, former co-host of the show, Genocide Rob, he was very much influenced by the movies Wayne's World. Picked up a lot of speech and terminology and mannerisms from it. And it's one of those things that he kept being himself. based off of the influences of the movie. And so at some point, that's just Rob. That's just Robert. That's just how he is. And I remember one time I watched Wayne's World. It came on TV or something, and I hadn't seen it in years. And I'm watching it, and I'm like, I feel like I'm hanging out with Robert. I'm like, oh my God, he got that line from this, and he got that one, and he still says that. I was like, this is just like hanging out with Robert, watching Wayne's World. I mean, it just was a very eerie feeling. How much watching Wayne's World felt like hanging out with my friend Robert, because he was that influenced by it.
Okay, I'm gonna have to watch it again. I forgot everything about it.
Yeah. It's an alright movie. It's had its moments. I don't think I ever watched the second one all the way through, though.
It was that good.
Yeah, well, it was. The first one wasn't that great to start with, so
Right.
how good is the second one going to be? This is part of a live performance that the Residents did in 1976 that's included in its entirety as a bonus track.
So this is recorded live,
Yeah,
just like the Colbert Show.
yeah, sure. They didn't play a lot of live shows in the 70s. They only played a handful of live shows. So this is not... And I guess they happened to be recording it, and now they released the whole thing. The whole half-hour performance.
Yeah, I remember them finishing Mark the Mole.
Mark of the Mole was early 80s. That they
Yeah, I
did,
know,
that they
still.
did the tour. But before that, there is the live performance where they dressed up as mummies that lots of pictures exist of. They didn't do a whole lot of live performing, but they did a few.
Yeah, but I don't think there was ever an ending to the Mark of the Mole.
Is that like a
It was
warped
kinda
version
weird.
of Satisfaction?
Well, they did actually. I think so. Yes, it is. Because they did actually release a single of their own version of Satisfaction,
Yeah.
around, which is.
I think I'm glad they don't have vocals on this.
Oh, it's coming.
Oh my god.
It's got a great guitar solo by Snakefinger on it. Yeah, let's skip to the guitar solo for it. Let's see if I can find it. Yeah, I think here's the guitar solo is going to come in certainly here. Cool version of Satisfaction.
Even they can make guitar solos sound weird.
In a lot of ways, it's like jazz improv. Because you take the original theme, and then you build on it, and you go off the rails, as it were.
Let's see. Oh, there's a version of them performing Satisfaction live in 1983. Included as a bonus track.
This is where they got better at playing it.
I guess, long lead-in time. You know, you're doing it live. You might dance around a little bit for show, whatever, before you actually start the.
And the Stones didn't see them?
No, they gave the Stones credit. I suppose, if anything, the Stones would have sued them to be removed from having any credit.
Right. That's not our song. That'd be a reverse.
You go ahead and keep that one.
Yeah.
We don't need the royalties.
Just don't use our name, and why don't you change the name of that song? Dissatisfaction.
But
right?
yeah,
that's what it sounds like.
The surviving members of the resident, or the members of the residents, are reaching that point in their life that they're digging these things out, archiving them, preserving them, and now it looks like the catalog is getting deluxe treatment. So I mean, these are the first two, and I expect there's going to be more 2-disc deluxe edition sets coming out with never before released stuff. I'm guessing this is what they needed the money for, that they were selling the large refrigerator box sets for large amounts of money. That helped them raise funds to start preserving lots.
Does that mean
and
you
lots
get a refrigerator with it?
No. They. You don't remember the Residence box set they were selling a while ago?
No.
Oh, they.
I do.
Yeah.
You guys are totally into them, so go ahead. Explain it.
Well, let me find.
Describe
It was.
Oh my god!
It was a box set that came with everything they ever released, and that was so much material that it required a refrigerator to hold it, and
like I got my videotapes.
Yeah, like you have, like your videotapes, except it was quality material that was in the fridge.
Hey.
I'm trying to find the promo that they put out advertising their box set because that explained it. Here we go. I think this will explain everything we need to know. Nope, this is not the right video. Here we go. I think this is the one. All right, let's try this.
Surprise! Hi, everybody. It's me, Randy, singer for the Residents. Now, I'm going to show you something exciting. But first, I know that most of you out there know who the Residents are, or you wouldn't be watching this. But for the ones that don't, I'm going to give you a little information to give you up to speed. So here's a few pictures of us to get you started.
You can share the video now?
All right. Let me.
The ones that don't, I'm going to give you a little information.
All right. Let me. That way you can see the pictures. The audio explains it mostly, but yeah, I may as well.
Yeah, because we definitely want to show pictures on the radio show.
Yeah, we might as well.
Right.
All right, here we go. So here's the ultimate box set. You can see he's standing in front of a fridge.
To give you up to speed. So here's a few pictures of us to get you started. Okay, now, the Residents are a group of so-called artists, performers, and musicians who have pretended to be a faceless and freaky rock band for the past 40 years. We have toured the world. We've released 1 million albums, videos, DVDs, CD-ROMs. Hell, we fucking invented music video. If you don't believe me, well, then just go down to the Museum of Modern Art in New York. They've got our videos in their permanent collection. You know why they call it the Museum of Modern Art? That's because they got more darn art in that building than you can shake a stick at. I've been there. I know. Okay, but You know, the deal here is that after nearly 40 years of all this anonymous crap, the residents have finally come out. It's us, Randy, Chuck, and Bob, the real deal. So, now, you're probably wondering why I am standing here in front of this gigantic refrigerator. Well, as you might expect, the deal here is not the refrigerator, and it's not what's inside either. It's both, and both make up the ultimate box set. Whoa, hold on there, Randy, you say. What's the big deal? What's the big deal about a box set? There are 40,000 box sets for sale on Amazon. The Beatles have 20 box sets. Tiny Tim has one. Even Elmo from Sesame Street has a box set. Okay, my friends, I am glad you asked me that. Because the plain and simple truth is that this box set is so huge, it takes a refrigerator to hold it all. Yes, sirree. This refrigerator right here holds the first release of every Residents album, every single, every video, every DVD. Now, this is Santa Dog. It is the absolute first release. It is a 2-record set of 45s. We sent them out to all of our friends. Even President Nixon got one. Okay, so here is Santa Dog 78, Santa Dog 82, Santa Dog 88, 99. It even contains Santa Dog 2012, the 40th anniversary version. Now, what else have we got here? Looky, looky, looky. It's the first album right here, Meet the Residents. And here is the second album, not available. And here is the third album. It is the third Reich and Roll. Okay, so now, you asked me. Is that it? You think that's all? No, we've got CDs, we've got DVDs, we've got video, we've got over 100 Residents products in all, right here in this refrigerator. But that's not all. That is not all. We have a genuine eyeball mask in every refrigerator.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, so listen up. There are only 10 of these suckers, so you better start getting your money together right now. Did I hear someone say, how much? Ha! Silly me. I forgot to give you the price. All right, so look, here's what you got. A genuine eyeball mask, over 100 Residents releases, and a 28 cubic foot refrigerator. And it all comes to you for the low bargain basement price of $100,000. $100K, right. It's time for you to get moving. Have a bake sale. Break open those penny jars. Sell a goddamn kidney if you have to. But you better do it fast because they won't last long. Huh? Excuse me, just a minute, excuse me. Okay, so I just got a telephone call from J. Edgar Sakamoto in Tokyo, Japan. And J. Edgar says, well, you know, Randy, the ultimate box set is pretty cool, but is that all you got, Randy? I say, well, okay, J. Edgar, you asked for it and you're gonna get it. I do have one more blockbuster wing wang walla walla bing bang big time and boffo item. And here it is, right here. This is it. It's a one-of-a-kind, beyond the Valley of the Bull Moose, Cucamonga, stand up and shout Constantinople item. What's in it? What's in this box? Well, I'm not gonna tell you, but I will tell you how much it costs. $5 million. That's right, folks. It'll cost 5 million clankaroonies to get what's inside of this little box. There's only one. And we're only dealing with people who have the ability to drive up in an armored car and dump all that cash in my garage. So, you high rollers, you big cheese, the ones that have got the stuff. Okay, all right. You should check into residents.com and convince us that you are serious. Okay, all right, so this is it. This is it. It's time to wrap up, folks. Here it is, the ultimate box set.
So that was the ultimate box set. So
So
there
is
you
it
go.
a good idea to name an album not available?
Well, the story goes that the Residents based their premise of their band on the theory of obscurity, being that an artist does their best work when no one knows who they are, because then there's no outside influence from the demands of the audience. So that is why they always remain anonymous. And so then they decided to take it a step further and record an album that they would never release. And so the second album they recorded after Meet the Residents was called Not Available.
Because
And
they never actually released it.
they did release it later. The story
Right.
about how it got released was, I guess, when they were working on the album Eskimo, or maybe it was after Eskimo. But at some point, they, I guess, felt that there was too many demands on them, so they took the master tapes of the album they were working on and skipped town, and the people running the record label had no product to put out, and they found the master tape for Not Available and said, well, here's a full album ready to go, we'll put that out. And the Residents said it was okay because we recorded it with it, never intending for it to be released, but it being released after the fact for different reasons doesn't change that. It was
Right.
But now here's the thing. I was unsure if that was a true story or not. And I started to think that maybe Not Available wasn't really recorded right after Meet the Residents and before Third Reich and Roll. And I was thinking maybe they made up that story about an album and they recorded it later, closer to the time it was actually released. And I don't know if that's true or not, but I do know that the existence of the album was something that was at least talked about before it was released. I'm going to go to the shelf.
So you put in your order and you didn't get an album, right? Because it
Eskimo was an
never-
awesome album. Like, whoa. Trippy. Boggled the mind.
I have right here.
We almost got Plumber's butt crack there, but we didn't.
No, I was careful. This here is I believe, original pressing.
That was
of-
for the people that were watching the radio show side of it.
I don't hang my butt crack out from my pants, okay? The tidy whities keep
Thank
the butt
God.
crack covered.
True, but I'm leaving it to the imagination.
Anyways, this here is I believe, original pressing of the Residents' fourth album, if you count Not Available as their second album, Fingerprints. And I bought this still sealed, and I opened it up and played it because, I like that.
Because you can.
Ooh, Ralph Records. There you go. And I noticed on the back of the cover, it lists other albums by the Residents. Now, this album was released in 1976. Same year as Third Reich and Roll, actually. Whereas Not Available was not released until later. Let me Google that right now to get the year that Not Available... Not Available was supposedly recorded in 74 and released in 1978. So here, this 1976 copy of Fingerprints actually lists Not Available as existing. Meet the Residents, Not Available, with just a black square, and Third Reich
So
and
they
Roll.
were teasing you on that.
Right, because Not Available actually has a cover. It's not just a black square. So yeah,
The Beatles came out with a white square.
Yeah, but Not
Well, that's right,
Available.
they were covering something.
So they hadn't made artwork for Not Available, but in 1976 they were claiming the existence of an unreleased second album. And then in 1978 it was released. So I don't know if it's the story and it was recorded later, or if it really was recorded then and released later. A lot of the Residence stories are kind of like a mythology, and there might be some truth in there, and there might be some grade A bullshit. But I found that very interesting that this album made reference to it before it was ever released.
Sure.
As existing.
So a little side story. So there was a suggestion that there should be a restaurant named I Don't Care. That way when you ask someone, hey, where do you want to go to eat?
I don't care.
And that's where you go.
There you go. I like the idea. I'm in favor of this.
You like that, Venison?
Yeah, I heard that one before.
It's an old joke. It's a classic. On that note, though, it is time to put another show to bed. We are 20 minutes late, but thank you everyone for listening. And, we do try to be educational here. And I think I've talked about a lot of cool new things here. And hopefully we've all learned a little something here tonight. So, Brian, what have you learned tonight?
So let's put this together. We learned about Wayne's World. We learned about The Residence. We learned about something that's not available.
Yes, that is available.
And shippings that don't make it.
Yes. But what did you personally learn?
The Residence.
All right. What about them? That you like them and they're your new favorite band?
I learned more about them. That they had that, whatever.
You're going to go get the box set, aren't you?
The full thing. I hope I have room in my garage.
Hey, I'll help you load it in.
A ticket? A plane ticket?
If you could afford a box set, I think you could afford the plane ticket.
Exactly.
And I'm pretty sure you could afford it.
Pretty much.
Yeah, but if you spent money like that, then you wouldn't be able to afford it.
Good point.
Anyways, Venison, what have you learned?
Right now I'm just checking out something. I'm looking at my Residence discography, and there's something here called WBA 1971. And
that's the Warner Brothers album.
Oh,
that's
what that's it.
That's technically not The Residence, but that is the album that The Residence got their name from. They consider those pre-Resident recordings as embarrassing and not The Residence because it was just a group of people that later went on to become The Residence. But yeah, they recorded they recorded some tapes in the early days that are, interesting and curious to listen to, but they considered them to be more amateurish.
How about that?
And the Warner Brothers album was sent to Warner Brothers or to someone associated with Warner Brothers for review, and they rejected it. But they didn't put their names on the tape, so the tape was sent back to their addressed to The Residence, and so that's when they decided that, well, it looks like we've just been given a name.
Okay.
I see.
And I got here in 1974, not available. Huh.
Yeah.
And Ronaldo and the Loaf.
Well, Ronaldo and the Loaf are a different group on Ralph Records.
I know. I wonder why they're labeled together.
Well, would that be Title in Limbo?
I don't know.
Because there was a collaboration album between The Residence and Ronaldo and the Loaf called Title in Limbo.
No, I think I got that somewhere else.
Well, then what Ronaldo and the Loaf album you got there?
Huh. Let's see. Bring that up. Nothing. I have no idea.
Huh.
I don't even know why that title's there. Because I got 11 Residence tracks and nothing else.
All right. Well, anyways, on that note, what have you learned?
Wait, what have I learned? Well, I kind of learned that you like watching Granny and Donkey porn while sitting in a rocking chair crocheting with a shawl on.
Brian's the one into the donkeys. And I've learned. What have I learned? I've learned that Brian's got some kind of interest in donkeys, and that out of everything that happened on the show today, Venison remembered the donkeys. And on that note,
and Brian, likes to imagine butt crack.
And on that note,
right,
it's time to put another episode to bed. Thank you everyone for listening, and be sure to check out Video Vamp with ADHD Radio tomorrow, Tuesday. Also, we have more programming Sunday, the Dude and Bob Show. Saturday, the Outlaw Radio guys. At NHRadio.com for all your information. And thank you everyone for listening. Good night.
Good donkey. Yeah, I got my ding dongs.
Yeah, that's what she said.